Have you ever wondered what simple changes can significantly improve the quality of life for our beloved elders? In this video, we delve into essential guidelines that can help older adults navigate their daily lives with dignity and comfort. From understanding the types of clothing that enhance elegance to identifying the places that ensure their safety, we cover it all. Additionally, we share the heartfelt story of Aiko, a dedicated caregiver whose experiences highlight the profound impact of compassionate support. By watching until the end, you'll gain valuable insights into fostering respect, maintaining mental and physical well-being, and building harmonious relationships within families. Whether you're a family member, caregiver, or someone passionate about elder care, this video provides actionable advice and inspiring narratives that you won't want to miss. Join us to discover how small adjustments can lead to a happier, healthier, and more fulfilling life for our seniors. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me. And if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. Number 1, 3 types of clothes you should not wear. Do not wear overly colorful or flashy clothes. Simplicity, in many ways, becomes the crown of wisdom as we age. It's not just a reflection of our clothing, but a reflection of our life's journey, a testament to our accumulated experiences and the grace that comes with time. As people reach their 70s and beyond, they often prioritize a quieter, more understated sense of style, one that mirrors the peaceful confidence they've gained throughout their lives. Flashy, overly colorful clothing, while fun and vibrant, can sometimes feel jarring, almost as if it's trying too hard to capture the energy of youth. But there's such beauty and dignity in embracing our age and expressing it through our attire. Over-the-top, bold outfits might stand out, but not always for the right reasons. They can distract from the quiet elegance that naturally accompanies maturity. Clothing, when chosen thoughtfully, should serve to enhance who we are, not overshadow it. For those in their 70s, simplicity in attire isn't about being boring or fading into the background. It's about allowing their natural grace to shine through. Neutral tones, soft fabrics, and classic styles have a way of speaking volumes about who a person is without saying too much. They convey a message of wisdom, humility, and the deep sense of peace that comes from having lived a full life. There is something undeniably beautiful about an older adult dressed in a way that is refined and simple. It exudes a quiet confidence, the kind that doesn't need validation from loud patterns or bright colors. It's a confidence rooted in the understanding that true beauty comes from within, and the outer appearance is merely a reflection of that inner serenity. Additionally, simplicity in clothing speaks to one's upbringing and values. It's often a reflection of a life lived with modesty, thoughtfulness, and consideration. It signals that a person is grounded, that they value quality over quantity, and that they have an appreciation for life's subtleties. However, this doesn't mean that older adults need to shy away from color altogether. There's absolutely a time and place for more vibrant clothing, especially during special occasions like family gatherings, parties, or formal events. A carefully chosen, slightly more colorful outfit can still be age-appropriate while adding a touch of brightness to an important occasion. The key is balance. Choosing attire that is both tasteful and reflects the joy of the moment without straying too far from the timeless elegance that defines one's style. Don't wear dirty or sloppy clothes. Perhaps one of the most important lessons we learn as we age is the importance of self-respect, and one of the most visible ways to show that respect is through the care we take in our appearance. For people in their 70s, wearing clean, well-maintained clothing is not just about looking good. It's about feeling good and showing respect for oneself and others. There's a quiet dignity in keeping one's clothes neat and fresh, no matter the occasion or the price tag of the garments. Whether the clothes are simple and modest or more upscale, the way they are presented says a lot about a person's sense of self and how they wish to be perceived by the world. At this stage of life, people often find that dressing well is not about following trends or impressing others, but about honoring the life they've lived and continuing to show care for themselves. A clean, crisp outfit not only makes a person feel more confident, but also sends a message to others that they value themselves and the world around them. Conversely, wearing dirty or unkempt clothing can have the opposite effect, leading others to perceive a lack of care or pride in appearance, which can unfortunately impact how they interact with us. For older adults, maintaining a polished, tidy look isn't about vanity. It's about preserving that sense of self-worth and dignity that they've carried with them for so many years. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. There's something powerful about the way we dress. Clean, well-fitting clothes can boost one's mood and self-esteem, while messy or sloppy attire can make us feel less confident and less comfortable in social situations. For older adults who may already face challenges with physical limitations or health concerns, taking the time to ensure their clothing is clean and presentable can make a world of difference in how they feel and how others perceive them. Dressing neatly also creates a sense of calm for those around us. It reassures them that we care about our well-being and that we're still fully engaged with life, no matter our age. This small act of self-care, dressing neatly and with intention, can foster stronger connections with others, as people tend to be drawn to those who exude a sense of self-respect and confidence. In contrast, if someone's clothing appears unkempt or sloppy, it may unintentionally create distance in social settings, making others feel uncomfortable or unsure of how to engage. While it may seem like a small thing, dressing with care is a reflection of one's character and the respect they have for their relationships, both old and new. Avoid clothes that are too tight or too hot. As we age, comfort becomes a crucial consideration, especially when it comes to clothing. For those in their 70s, the body undergoes changes that make it all the more important to choose attire that is not only stylish but also practical. Wearing clothes that are too tight or too heavy can be more than just uncomfortable. It can have negative effects on physical health. Tight clothing can restrict movement, interfere with circulation, and even cause difficulty breathing, especially for those with health issues. This can lead to feelings of discomfort, irritability, or even anxiety in social settings, which is the last thing anyone wants when they're trying to enjoy time with loved ones or engage in daily activities. Moreover, wearing overly warm clothes can cause the body to overheat, leading to excessive sweating, fatigue, or skin conditions like rashes or dermatitis. Older adults, whose bodies may not regulate temperature as effectively as they once did, need to be especially mindful of this. The goal should always be to prioritize comfort and ease of movement. Loose, breathable clothing made from natural fabrics like cotton or linen allows the body to stay cool and comfortable, which is essential for maintaining overall health and well-being. There's also something profoundly nurturing about choosing clothing that is gentle on the body. It's a way of showing love and care for oneself, of acknowledging that after all these years, the body deserves to be treated with kindness and respect. When older adults wear clothing that feels good on their skin and allows them to move freely, they are better able to enjoy their daily lives, whether they're spending time with family, engaging in hobbies, or simply relaxing at home. Loose, comfortable clothing not only promotes physical well-being, but also allows for greater flexibility and freedom of movement, making it easier to stay active and maintain a sense of independence. At its core, dressing comfortably is an act of self-compassion. It's a recognition that, while the body may not be as strong or as agile as it once was, it still deserves to be cared for and protected. By choosing clothing that prioritizes comfort and health, older adults can continue to live their lives fully and joyfully without the distractions of discomfort or physical strain. Ultimately, dressing with comfort in mind allows for a greater sense of freedom, both physically and emotionally, enabling older adults to focus on what truly matters, living life to the fullest with grace, ease, and contentment. Number 2, 3 places older adults should not go. As we age, our priorities shift, and one of the most important considerations becomes safety, both physical and mental. In our 60s, we might still feel energetic and capable of traveling and exploring as we once did. However, once we reach our 70s and beyond, it becomes essential to reassess our fitness levels and overall health. With age comes the understanding that certain places and experiences can pose risks, either to our physical well-being or to our emotional health. It's not about limiting oneself, but about making choices that foster a happy, peaceful, and secure life. Here are 3 places older adults should avoid to ensure both their safety and their peace of mind. Do not visit graves. One of the traditional beliefs is that people over 90 should avoid visiting graves, but in reality, even at 70, it is wise to steer clear of such sorrowful places. While visiting the graves of loved ones might seem like a way to honor their memory, it can often bring about overwhelming feelings of sadness. Older adults, who may already be grappling with their mortality and the loss of friends and family, are more vulnerable to these emotional triggers. Though memories of loved ones can be warm and comforting, they are often intertwined with the pain of loss and separation, making it difficult to escape feelings of sorrow. This sadness, if experienced repeatedly, can weigh heavily on an older person's emotional and mental health. Instead of visiting graves, older adults can create personal memorials in the comfort and peace of their own homes. Lighting a candle, displaying a cherished photo, or saying a quiet prayer can serve as a meaningful way to remember loved ones without being overwhelmed by grief. This shift in practice not only helps maintain emotional balance, but also brings a sense of serenity and control, allowing individuals to remember without the weight of sadness. It can also be beneficial for health, as prolonged grief and emotional distress can take a toll on the body and mind. Letting younger generations, such as children or grandchildren, take on the task of visiting graves can alleviate the emotional burden for older adults. Meanwhile, they can choose to spend their time in peaceful places like temples, churches, or quiet corners of their home, where they can find solace and reflection without being drawn into the sadness of the past. Do not go to unfamiliar places. There's a certain thrill in exploring new and unfamiliar places when we're younger, but as we grow older, these unknown environments can present a variety of unforeseen dangers. Our physical abilities, reflexes, and mental sharpness naturally decline with age, making it harder to navigate unfamiliar surroundings safely. For older adults, venturing into unknown places can lead to disorientation, getting lost, or worse, accidents that could have serious, long-term consequences. Even something as simple as tripping on uneven ground or missing a turn could lead to injuries that take much longer to recover from than they would in younger years. This is why older adults should prioritize visiting familiar places where they feel comfortable and know their way around. Familiarity not only provides a sense of security, but also reduces the risk of encountering unexpected situations that could cause harm. If traveling to new locations is necessary, it's crucial to take precautions. Carrying a mobile phone is an absolute must, as it allows for immediate contact with family members or emergency services in case something goes wrong. Additionally, older adults should never travel alone to unfamiliar places. They should always have someone by their side to help navigate and offer support if needed. Safety at this stage in life should always be the top priority. Choosing outings that are safe and manageable helps maintain independence while minimizing risks. There's no need to court danger or discomfort when there are so many pleasant, secure places that can be enjoyed without fear. Whether it's a local park, a favorite restaurant, or even just a stroll through familiar streets, these simpler pleasures bring peace of mind and allow older adults to continue living a fulfilling life without unnecessary risks. This mindful approach to where we go and what we do is one of the keys to living a long, happy, and comfortable old age. Do not go to socially active or unhealthy places. As people age, maintaining one's health and dignity becomes increasingly important, not just for themselves, but for their family and loved ones. Older adults who frequently visit socially active or unhealthy places, such as noisy bars, gambling venues, or other risky environments, may unknowingly jeopardize both their physical health and their reputation. While it might seem harmless to engage in these activities, they can have far-reaching consequences, both personally and socially. Family honor and reputation still carry great weight in many cultures, and the actions of older family members can reflect on the entire family. If an elderly person were to find themselves in an inappropriate situation, whether through poor judgment or bad luck, it could lead to embarrassment or worse. Such incidents could bring shame not only upon themselves, but also upon their children and grandchildren, creating a social fallout that could affect family dynamics and even professional opportunities for younger generations. The ripple effect of these actions can be surprisingly wide-reaching, and for the sake of family unity and respect, older adults should exercise caution in their social activities. Maintaining self-respect and making wise choices about where to spend time is crucial for both personal well-being and family legacy. Older adults must recognize that their actions still matter and that they are still role models for their children and grandchildren. By avoiding places that could tarnish their reputation or put them in harm's way, they protect not only their dignity, but also ensure that their family's future remains unblemished. This isn't just about avoiding potential harm. It's about living with purpose and responsibility. At 70 and beyond, it's a time to reflect on what truly brings happiness and peace. The noisy, chaotic environments that might have once seemed appealing in younger years often lose their charm with time, replaced by a desire for tranquility, simplicity, and meaningful connections. Ultimately, as people age, they come to realize that happiness does not lie in external distractions or busy social lives. Instead, it is found in the quiet moments, time spent with loved ones, peaceful reflection, and the comfort of a calm, orderly life. By letting go of unnecessary chaos and focusing on living with intention, older adults can maintain both their physical and mental health. Their relationships with family and friends will flourish in this environment of peace, and they will leave behind a legacy of wisdom, grace, and integrity. These guidelines are not merely about physical health. They represent a philosophy of life, a way of embracing aging with dignity and peace, and of finding joy and simplicity rather than ambition. For those in their 70s and beyond, life should be about cherishing these moments of peace and tranquility, not chasing after thrills or unnecessary risks. True contentment comes from within, and it's in these small, mindful choices that lasting happiness is found. Part 3. 3 banquets that should not be held. Do not hold banquets when you have lost children. Losing a child is one of the deepest sorrows any parent can endure, and for older adults, the pain of such a loss never truly fades. Holding a banquet in the absence of their children can be a painful reminder of that emptiness, transforming what should be a joyful gathering into a profound experience of grief. In many cultural traditions, banquets are moments when children express their respect and love for their parents, filling the occasion with laughter, warmth, and a sense of generational continuity. But for parents who have lost their children, the presence of grandchildren or other relatives cannot fill the void left behind by their own children's absence. What was once a time of celebration now becomes a painful reminder of who is missing. In these situations, rather than lifting their spirits, a banquet might heighten their loneliness, amplifying the aching void of loss. The noise, the gatherings, the conversations. Everything that might once have brought joy could instead serve to highlight the absence of their beloved children, making them feel more alone, even in the company of family and friends. This profound sense of loneliness can ripple through the event, affecting not just the older adults but everyone in attendance, turning what should be a moment of happiness into a shared grief. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Instead of large social gatherings that reopen old wounds, older adults can find solace in simplicity. Quiet moments of reflection, intimate dinners with close family, or even personal rituals that honor their children's memory can provide much-needed peace. This wisdom teaches us not only how to navigate grief, but also how to protect ourselves from unnecessary emotional pain in social settings. By avoiding large gatherings in such sensitive times, older adults can preserve their mental peace and allow healing to take place. Do not organize banquets when facing financial difficulties. In old age, financial stability becomes even more crucial, as expenses related to health care, housing, and daily living can weigh heavily on a person's mind. For older adults who are facing financial difficulties, organizing banquets or large celebrations can impose an unnecessary burden, both on themselves and their families. There's an old saying, if you live richly in the mountains, even distant relatives will visit. But if you live poorly in the city, no one will care. This highlights a harsh reality. Social gatherings are often dictated by appearances and expectations, rather than genuine connections. For those struggling financially, hosting a banquet may feel like a social obligation, a way to maintain status or avoid judgment. But the cost of such events can push families further into debt, increasing their financial strain. Older adults, who may not have the same income or savings they once had, should be cautious about organizing lavish events that drain resources unnecessarily. Rather than trying to meet societal expectations or keeping up appearances, they should prioritize their well-being and live within their means. Banquets can often feel like mere formalities, where the true meaning of celebration is lost, and the event becomes a hollow exercise in social niceties. The emotional and financial toll of such gatherings is simply not worth the fleeting moments of status or approval. Instead, older adults should embrace the value of simplicity, leading a life free from financial stress and unnecessary extravagance. This sets a powerful example for younger generations, teaching children and grandchildren that happiness and peace come not from material wealth or grand gestures, but from living within one's means and appreciating life's quiet moments. By choosing not to organize costly banquets, older adults can maintain their financial health and focus on what truly matters: living a peaceful, stable life, free from the pressures of unnecessary obligations. Do not celebrate when sick. Health is the greatest wealth, especially as we age. When older adults are unwell, whether they are dealing with chronic illness or more temporary health setbacks, the most important focus should be on recovery and self-care. In the past, it was believed that holding celebrations could drive away illness and bring health and joy. But the reality is far different. Large banquets and social gatherings can be physically draining, especially for those who are already struggling with health issues. The energy it takes to host such events, combined with the emotional toll of being surrounded by people, can lead to further exhaustion and potentially worsen their condition. For older adults facing health challenges, the best way to find peace and comfort is through small, intimate gatherings with close family members. These moments of calm and warmth are far more beneficial than the chaos of large celebrations. When one is sick, emotions tend to run high. Feelings of worry, stress, or even guilt for not being able to fully participate can emerge. These emotions can hurt both mental and physical health, exacerbating illness rather than promoting healing. Instead of grand gestures or banquets, quiet moments spent in the company of loved ones, sharing a meal or a conversation, can offer a sense of comfort and joy without overwhelming the body or mind. In these quieter, more personal settings, older adults can truly feel the love and care of their family without the pressure to entertain or keep up appearances. They can rest, relax, and focus on what matters most, preserving their health and enjoying the company of those closest to them, celebrating in small ways, without the burden of large events, allows for deeper connections and a more meaningful expression of love and gratitude. This approach not only protects the health of older adults, but also ensures that their final stages of life are filled with peace, joy, and genuine moments of happiness, rather than the stress and strain of unnecessary celebrations. Part 4. The story of a 49-year-old female babysitter. Please listen to the story of a 49-year-old female babysitter. Let me share with you the heartfelt and inspiring story of Aiko, a 49-year-old female babysitter who has experienced both profound loss and new beginnings in her life. My name is Aiko, and I am 49 years old, living in the bustling city of Tokyo, Japan. My journey to becoming a babysitter was unexpected and filled with emotional challenges, but it also led me to discover a new sense of purpose. Born and raised in the quiet town of Kamakura, I lived a simple, content life with my husband and 2 beautiful children. We weren't wealthy, but we were happy. My husband and I ran a small shop together, a modest business that earned us about 400,000 yen per month, enough to live comfortably and save for the future. We had big dreams. We hoped to open a second shop in the heart of Tokyo, a new venture that we would someday pass down to our children. Life was peaceful and full of hope, and I was surrounded by the love of my family. But when I was 45, tragedy struck, shattering the world I had known. My husband, my partner in life and business, was killed in a traffic accident. His sudden death left me devastated, both emotionally and financially. In an instant, I was a widow, alone with 2 children who still needed me. The grief was unbearable. I couldn't imagine how I could carry on without him by my side. Our plans for the future vanished, and I found myself drowning in sorrow, struggling to make ends meet. The business began to fail without my husband's support, and I watched as our savings dwindled, some of it going toward medical and funeral expenses, and the rest trying to keep the shop afloat. It became clear to me that I couldn't continue running the shop on my own, faced with overwhelming financial pressure and a heart weighed down by grief. I knew I had to make a change. I had to start over, for the sake of my children and their future. With nothing left to lose, I packed up and moved to Tokyo, a city full of opportunities but also uncertainty. I needed to rebuild my life, but I had no experience working outside of our family business, and finding a new job seemed impossible. It was through the kindness of a friend that I stumbled upon the idea of becoming a babysitter. At first, I didn't think I was cut out for this line of work. After all, I had never cared for others professionally or navigated the complexities of working in someone else's home. But the promise of a stable income, about 250,000 yen per month, was enough to convince me to give it a try. I underwent short-term training, and within a month, I received my first job. I was hired to take care of an elderly man named Wai-san, an 82-year-old who lived on the outskirts of Tokyo. He had 3 children, but they all lived overseas and rarely visited. I'll admit, at first, I was nervous. I worried that caring for an elderly man might be difficult, or that I wouldn't know what to do. But Wai-san was incredibly kind and patient with me. He didn't just teach me how to care for him. He taught me how to cook his favorite traditional meals, and we spent hours talking and walking together. Over time, Wai-san became more than just someone I cared for. He became like family. He praised me for my dedication and patience, and in many ways, he helped me heal from the loss of my husband. For 3 years, I looked after Wai-san, earning 280,000 yen per month. My duties included housework, cooking, and taking walks with him every evening. I cherished those quiet moments as they reminded me of what it meant to care for someone again, to feel needed. But as with all things, change was inevitable. Wai-san's health gradually declined, and his children made the difficult decision to move him to a high-end nursing home in Yokohama, where he could receive more specialized care. It was a painful parting for both of us, but I understood it was the best choice for him. After saying goodbye to Wai-san, I was left once again looking for new work. Eventually, I was offered a position to care for a 75-year-old man named Takahashi. Like Wai-san, he was living alone. His wife had passed away years before, and his children were too busy with their own lives to return home often. Loneliness had begun to take its toll on you, and he realized he needed someone to provide care and companionship. That's when I came into the picture, introduced to him by a mutual friend. When you met me, he explained the situation candidly. I'm no longer the man I used to be. My body is frail, and I need someone to be with me around the clock. Would you be willing to live in my home and care for me 24 hours a day? I hesitated. Taking on such a role was no small task. It wasn't just the physical demands of 24-hour care that worried me. It was also the potential for misunderstandings. After all, I was a single woman living in the home of an older man. What would people think? But I could see the sincerity in Yu's eyes. He genuinely needed help, and I felt that he was a person I could trust. Before agreeing to the arrangement, I made sure to protect my boundaries. I presented 3 conditions to you. The first, and perhaps the most important, was I would like to be respected as a professional. I know my job well, and I understand the responsibilities that come with it. Please trust me to do my work without interference, and I promise to take the best care of you. You listened carefully and nodded in agreement. He respected my professionalism, and from that moment on, our partnership was set. Though my journey to becoming a babysitter was unexpected and filled with hardship, it has been one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. Through the people I have cared for, I have found new purpose, new connections, and a renewed sense of belonging. Aiko continued outlining her conditions for the job, knowing that clear boundaries were crucial to maintaining a healthy professional relationship. Second, she said, her voice firm yet respectful, I will be living in your house, but I also need private time. I need time to communicate with my family, and during those moments, I ask that you do not disturb me. Wai-san, who had been listening intently, seemed to consider her request carefully. He nodded in quiet agreement, showing no sign of objection. Aiko's family was still an important part of her life, and despite living away from them, she needed time to connect with them and to feel grounded in the relationships that mattered most. Finally, Aiko addressed her third and final condition. When I am on night shifts, please do not enter my room without permission. If you need anything, please knock. I understand if there's an emergency, but otherwise, I need my private space to rest and recharge. For a moment, Wai-san remained silent, contemplating her words. But then, with a gentle smile, he nodded and said, "That makes sense. I agree with all your conditions. As long as you do your job well, I have no concerns." With that understanding, Aiko officially became Wai-san's full-time caregiver, moving into his home to begin this new chapter in her life. At the start, Aiko threw herself into her work, determined to provide the best care possible. She took meticulous care of Wai-san, managing all aspects of his daily life, cooking nutritious meals, doing laundry, assisting with personal hygiene, and providing companionship. Wai-san, who initially had a somewhat difficult personality, gradually softened toward Aiko. Living together day in and day out, Wai-san began to trust her deeply. He appreciated her diligence, her patience, and the way she quietly restored order to his home and life. Over time, a bond of mutual respect developed between them, and despite their differences, they found a harmonious rhythm in their shared routines. Aiko felt that, for the first time since her husband's passing, her life was stabilizing. However, no situation is without its challenges. Though things were mostly peaceful between Aiko and Wai-san, small troubles started to creep into their life, particularly in the form of Wai-san's son, Hiroshi. Hiroshi, an unsuccessful businessman, would often visit his father's home with his wife and children in tow. Each time, Hiroshi seemed to bring with him a new financial crisis, asking for his father's help. At first, Aiko didn't interfere in the personal matters between Wai-san and his son. She believed it wasn't her place to comment, and she focused on her duties. But things took a turn when Hiroshi began asking for increasingly larger sums of money. He insisted that Wai-san should use his pension to help him buy a new house, claiming that his current home in the suburbs was too small for his growing family. Hiroshi requested a staggering 5 million yen to purchase a house in Tokyo, a sum that would severely impact Wai-san's financial stability. Out of love and a sense of paternal obligation, Wai-san hesitated, torn between helping his son and protecting his future. It was then that Aiko could no longer remain silent. She felt a strong sense of responsibility toward Wai-san, who had become like family to her, and she knew she had to speak up for his sake. With her usual calm but firm demeanor, Aiko confronted Wai-san and said, "You need to stop helping Hiroshi like this. You are retired, and your pension is barely enough for your living expenses. You are not responsible for buying a house for your son." It took several conversations, but eventually Aiko's words sank in, and Wai-san agreed to stop providing financial support for Hiroshi's new house. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Unfortunately, this didn't end the family drama. Rather than accepting his father's decision, Hiroshi convinced his entire family to move into Wai-san's house to save on rent. The once quiet home became cramped and chaotic, filled with the noise of children and the constant presence of Hiroshi's wife. What had been a peaceful sanctuary for Wai-san and Aiko turned into a crowded and noisy space. And Aiko's workload increased dramatically. Not only was she caring for Wai-san, but she was also now responsible for cooking, cleaning, and managing the needs of Hiroshi's entire family. Though Aiko remained professional, she began to feel overwhelmed and increasingly exploited. This wasn't the arrangement she had agreed to, and the growing sense of unfairness weighed heavily on her. After months of enduring the stress, tension, and feeling taken advantage of, Aiko reached her breaking point. She could no longer continue under these conditions. One day, She sat down with Wai-san and spoke her truth. "I can't continue anymore," she said, her voice steady but filled with emotion. "I agreed to take care of you, but I did not sign up to take care of your son's entire family. Their responsibilities are not mine, and I feel that I am being treated unfairly." Wai-san, who had grown fond of Aiko over the years, listened in silence, a deep sense of regret washing over him. He knew that Aiko was right, but he had allowed the situation to spiral out of control. As she packed her belongings and prepared to leave, Wai-san could only watch, feeling powerless to change the circumstances that had driven her away. After Aiko left, Wai-san was left to reflect on the reality of his life. He realized, perhaps too late, that the most important person in his final years had not been his son Hiroshi, who seemed to care only about money, but Aiko, the woman who had cared for him with genuine compassion and kindness. Hiroshi, despite living under the same roof, showed little interest in his father's well-being and was more focused on his financial troubles. It was Aiko, not Hiroshi, who had been the one to fill Wai-san's lonely days with warmth, care, and understanding. Now, without her presence, the house felt emptier than ever. Wai-san, in his heart, knew that losing Aiko was a great mistake, one that could never truly be mended. As we reflect on Aiko's story, there are many valuable lessons we can take away, from the importance of setting boundaries and standing up for oneself, to the significance of genuine care and compassion in relationships. Aiko's journey reminds us of the power of kindness, resilience, and knowing when to walk away from situations that no longer serve us. Now, we'd love to hear from you. What have you learned from Aiko's story? Take a moment to think about one lesson or insight that resonated with you and that you will bring into your own life. Please share your thoughts in the comments below. If you like this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Your support helps us continue bringing you more inspiring stories like this one.